Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jesse Green Live. And it must be Wednesday morning at 5:36 because you're here watching us. I've got a real treat for you today. This is a friend of mine who's been a friend for 15 years, at least. Doug Kasarik from Daytona Beach, Florida. But a lot of you probably won't know who that is by the name. But this is Craven Moore-Grogg, the illustrious captain of the Leviathan, which I happen to be a member of.
Jesse is the first person that we approved a tattoo of the Leviathan on him as a permanent badge.
Yeah, as a permanent badge. And the reason for that is, I don't think I was in the movies when I started the Leviathan.
You weren't. You started movies after you were a crew member, yeah.
And so it's been well over 10 years, 10, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to sneak the banner, the armband, into movies, and they wouldn't allow that. So I thought, okay, I'll just get it tattooed on me. And back then, now I'm working in a little bit higher level movies. They'd probably cover it up if they want to. But back then, most independent companies barely had enough money to make facial changes with makeup. They certainly never put it on your hands. So any of the movies I've ever been in, unless I wore gloves, sometimes I'd stick gloves on so you wouldn't see it. You're going to see the Leviathan tattoo.
I think I remember the first one. There was some kind of a shooting situation going on, and you had to point, and so you knew it was going to be in there when you pointed.
You try to sit around and cover it up, and But I luckily I'm at the point now where companies take me for what I am.
Well, absolutely. I mean, your career as an actor has just taken off in such cool ways, Jess. I mean, we've known each other for a long time. I feel really fortunate that you call me for advice every now and then about even, how you're going to name something, how you're going to do something. And
how I came up with a name for wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an example. Exactly. And so, we brainstormed out a little bit and came up with Captain Decapitate.
Yeah.
And it worked really well. I mean, that's who you are now.
Yeah. Back when I started wrestling, they wanted to make me a heel manager, and so I had to come up with a name. And I liked Craven Moore-Grogg, so I wanted to make my name Craven Moore-Blood. And I wouldn't have had to. I could have, Craven isn't copyrighted.
Right.
I could have just used it, but out of courtesy, I called Craven up and told him, and he said, I'd rather stay the only Craven in the pirate community. So I said, okay, and I think we probably spent 5 minutes on the phone.
It wasn't that long because we came to it pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, you came to it. He actually came up with the name Captain Decapitate. And I was like...
You said you want to do something with blood, right?
Yeah. And
so you're going to send out headhunting and people like that. I said, so that's kind of...
And at the time, I still didn't, and maybe I still don't like it as well as Craven Moore-Blood.
Well, it could be Craven Decapitate. Who knows? I don't know.
That doesn't work.
Oh,
Craven Moore-Blood had a ring to it. But I'm Captain Decapitate. There's no change in that.
Yeah, there's T-shirts and little dolls and bobbleheads and shit.
There's all kinds of, and you can't unless I go to work with the WWE and they change my name. As long as I'm in the independent circuit, I'll always be Captain Decapitate. I'm too old for any new tricks.
Jesse, new tricks. You speak of new tricks. You definitely have. Gotten past this whole you can't teach an old dog new tricks because you are constantly coming up with new tricks.
Yeah, this is only been going on since November, and this we had a discussion before we came back here to do this, and I'm in uncharted territory here. With podcasts, I'm not sure what I need to do to get more than 68 subscribers. I got viewers since November. I've got almost 10,000 views.
Well, I can tell you what you can do to get more subscribers. You ask them.
So
now if you like this, make sure you click on the bell, click on the notification, and subscribe.
There are times I get on here and beg, please, please subscribe to my channel. And you know what it results in? Maybe one, maybe two.
Each
That's
time
it.
you ask, you get some money.
It gets, yeah, and it'll build up, because I think when you get to 100 subscribers, some more features opens up on YouTube. So I want to get to that, because I've got the,
Anything I can do to help, I'm here.
and I have no desire right now to. I think you have to get up to 1,000 and have 40,000 views before you can monetize it, and I have no desire to do that, folks. Until I get to 1 million subscribers, and then the money is there, because I don't want to do it to you, because I hate watching videos and that little commercial comes up, and I don't want to do it to you until it gets to a point where I'm making some big money. If I'm making 35 cents a month, I'm not going to monetize this.
I can appreciate that.
That's so far down the road. So Craven is the inventor,
Founder.
one of the founders of the Leviathan. And would you say Leviathan is the biggest pirate organization?
I
In the
always say
world?
it. Yeah, I always say it a little humbly because
Okay.
because I'll say arguably
Oh,
one
okay,
of
yeah.
or arguably the largest. I mean, we're in 36 states and 9 countries. I think 10 countries now. So something that started around a little 4-top table in a pizza restaurant with pictures of Rolling Rock and pizza has turned into something that is a bit of a global. I don't want to say it's a phenomenon, because that sounds boastful. That's not what it is. But it's important to us. It's important to the
Yeah.
people that are part of it. And it's kind of phenomenally cool that our culture has managed to spread around the globe. And no matter where you travel, which you travel a lot, when you go and you see one of those armbands and see that emblem that's on your hand, you know you've kind of found cousins that maybe you haven't met yet, and you get to hang out like you know each other.
Exactly. Well, I had no idea when I started Captain Mango. I did that, didn't even have a name. I just did it for tailgating for Jimmy Buffett concerts. I got tired of setting up the tiki bars and carrying coolers and all. And I had no idea at the time the universal appeal of pirates. Everybody loves pirates. Male, female, any race, any age, everybody loves pirates.
You know, Jesse, I like to tease a little bit now because of, you know, the controversy. I'm not taking a side over, but when people talk about, do you self-identify and what are your pronouns?
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of the pirate community. Pirate is unisex.
That's right.
You can male, female, you both identify as a pirate.
I still have a problem calling a female pirate a pirate. They're a wench to me, but some women are, because that's a pretty derogatory term
To some. Yeah, to some.
Yeah,
Others
to
take
some.
it as a
Oh,
term
yeah.
of endearment, as
Oh,
a
yeah.
badge of honor.
And to me, that's what a female that hung around with pirates was a wench. But there were some like Anne Bonny and Mary Read.
That's why I say a
There were
female
some
pirate is a pirate to me.
Female pirates,
Exactly.
yeah. And but I mean
I actually said that once on a Zoom call, business call, because I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but off to your left side is my black powder guns, and they show up on my on my video feed when I'm doing business here in the office. And somebody actually asked what people's pronouns were. And, you know, a couple of he, she's, and one person said they, and then they got to me, and I said, well, I self-identify as a pirate.
as a pirate, yeah.
And they started laughing, and I said, I turned off the screen to the blur, and so I said, here's my black powder guns,
Yeah.
I self-identify as a pirate. They laughed, and they've called me captain ever since.
Okay. I know what I have found since I've become Captain Mango and then Captain Decapitate is outside of that, I've become more like those characters. Because I grew up as a pretty shy person, and I still consider myself a shy person. I know he's going to laugh at it, but if I get in a room full of 10 people and there's 4 people I don't know, I'm a wallflower. until I fill the room out and I know who's who, and then I'm fine. But being these two pirates has brought me out, and because when you think like a pirate, you can't be held back.
Jesse, I actually was interviewed on All Things Considered on National Public Radio at one time, and they asked me about, what is this whole pirate thing all about? Why do people pirate?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that it was sort of like a continuum. That there's, on one end of the spectrum, there are people who put on their clothing, put on the pirate clothing, big hat, feathers, and all the stuff. It's like putting on a Halloween costume or a mask to them, and so they are able to be somebody they're not. But the flip side is that on the whole other end of the spectrum, you find people who, when they put on their pirate gear, it becomes them. And it's like their way of taking off the mask they're wearing at work every day.
Right.
And they reveal more of their real self in this environment where they can be who they want to be and be everybody that's been cooped up inside of them. And so that's why I jokingly say, be careful.
Yeah. True.
When I set your inner pirate free, it's sort of like toothpaste. You can't put that shit back in the tube.
You can't put it back in.
Exactly.
Well, they say that's not the only thing you can't put back in once you. But we won't go there right now. And I know, and I'm sure you've heard this over the years, because we have fun wherever we go. We have fun, and guys will come up and go, "I'm going to buy a pirate outfit because I want to have fun like that." You know how many I know that have actually done that?
Well, I gotta say the opposite for me, because the people that come up to me and ask me, I end up making them pirates, sort of like you.
There you go. But
You're right.
I did have one guy up in upstate Pennsylvania that he was an asshole. He was an asshole. Nobody liked him. He was an asshole. So he goes out and puts together kind of a Halloween costume as a pirate, and would show up at functions where I was at. Well, what he didn't realize is you have to have the attitude,
Right.
to do it. And all he became was an asshole dressed like a pirate.
There are people that come up to us at bars and restaurants, and they'll see just the fun and convivial interaction between everybody that's hanging out. And patrons will walk up and they'll say, "How do I become a pirate? Because this just looks like so much fun."
Yeah.
And it just constantly amazes me how people are really yearning for some way to connect with other people these days.
Yes.
So much is still done, even post-pandemic, over video and everything else, and this is a way where people can get together face to face. I mean, here we are in Daytona. You've traveled. We were at an event last night, and there are people from all over the place.
All over, yeah.
There were people from Fort Lauderdale. There were people from up in Maryland and Virginia and New Orleans, and there were people from all over the place.
All over, yeah.
That came to be with friends.
Yeah.
And to hang out with people in the real world, what do they call that? IRL, in real life?
In real life, yeah.
And that is one of the things that I think is the most valuable part of when we pirate. And it is really funny for me because in my business life, we're in real estate development, we produce events, we do a lot of different things, high finance, you name it, and yet a lot of them still call, they find out, they call me captain because, and they've asked if they can be there. The president of our events group showed up on Main Street last night at the Rum Festival looking for me because it's opened his eyes. He was in Myrtle Beach doing an event, and he said, there are people with pirate golf carts, and there are people doing, he said, this is a real big thing, isn't it? And then he mentioned that Dolly Parton and her Dixie Stampede dinner show,
yeah,
it's been changed
to pirates. Yeah.
It's Dolly Parton's Pirate Adventure.
Yeah.
Because you're right, people dig it.
And they love pirates. I guess it's what pirates represented, the freedom, and because if you really look at pirates back in the Golden Age, they were the scum of the earth. You know, they were
in their own way.
You know, they were freedom.
I will
They were
romanticize it a little bit because beyond the scum of the earth part, but so were a lot of the sailors that got press ganged out of bars where they got drunk and they woke up on a Navy ship the next day.
True.
And so
True.
they were being pulled out of the gutters to find the men.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is that the pirates actually usually had better food, better wages,
Yeah.
more fun than the average sailor who had been press ganged into service for the king.
And they actually had the first kind of true democracy on board the ship.
There was some voting that went on.
Voting and
You know, some people ask me, they're like, well, Captain, if they've done a little study like you're talking about, they'll talk about, well, couldn't you be voted to be the? I guarantee you, these ships were worth a lot of money. When somebody's earning maybe $1 a month, these ships were worth a lot of money. Okay,
a lot of money.
So I'm confident that the owner of the ship didn't leave it to a vote who was really in command.
Yeah, like you see in the movies.
Yeah, like you see in the movies. But if you and I were out pillaging and plundering, and we took a ship, now I've got 2 ships. There you might have a vote of who's going to captain the next one. You know what I mean? Or the 3rd one, or the 4th one, or the 5th one.
Exactly.
You might elect a captain to do that. But it's not so much, we're going to vote the captain out.
Yeah,
That's
we
mutiny.
don't like you anymore. We're going to change.
Yeah, it wasn't that democratized.
Yeah.
But I will also say that it is the very first place where you see workman's compensation programs.
Yeah, I was ready to mention that. Yeah, and it was usually spelled out. If you lost an arm, you got this amount of money.
Yep.
If you lost a leg, you got this amount of money. And so it was.
It was the life that was left because, see, a lot of the piracy's been going on since there was commerce and water. And anywhere where there was commerce, water, and boats, you had pirates.
Yeah.
But so there were a lot of different ages of it. But so, it was people who, that was the way they went and made their living. They took from somebody else. And in a lot of cases that happened in a lot of ways. It wasn't, lawlessness. There wasn't a lot of law.
Yeah, right.
In the world for a long time. So, I don't mean to overly romanticize it, but it's funny, Jess. I was thinking just a second ago. You remember our very first interaction?
Yeah.
You were in a bar.
Yep.
And you made a comment, and they called me.
Yeah, I came down to Daytona Beach, and somehow had heard about what was it called?
Shipwreck?
No.
Was the event?
No, the bar.
Captain Steamers.
Captain Steamers. Somehow I heard about that was a hangout for local pirates. And I probably knew about the Leviathan, and I knew Craven's name, but that was it, just in passing, And so I go into this bar, and I'm sitting there, and I don't know what I asked the bartender. Maybe something about any pirates in here. Next thing I know, this guy that I have no idea who he was comes up to me and goes, "Are you Captain Mango?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, and nobody knows me in this bar. And he goes, "Somebody wants to talk to you." It was him.
He had asked enough questions that they picked up the phone and called me and said, "There's a pirate in here from, this guy dressed like a pirate in here. He's from out of town. He's from up north. Da-da-da." Gave me just a few descriptors. And I said, okay, if I don't know him already, I said, ask him if his name is Captain Mango. And I remember how blown away you were. You're like, nobody knows me here.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
Yeah. And so, we've been friends. Been friends ever since. Been to a lot of pirate festivals, pirate functions. Just last night, the Rum Festival here in Daytona Beach. And I keep wanting to make it out to New Orleans to meet the guy with the beard.
Captain Squid's becoming very famous.
Yeah, I want to meet him. And
you also need to go out to Texas and meet Captain Scarlet. I mean, Tim is amazing. One of the things that we are very, 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 very fortunate to have is incredible local hosts that are part of our crew all over the country. And there's over 70 of them.
Wow.
70 local coxswains.
Wow.
You were a coxswain for a little while.
Yeah.
A coxswain to us is a local host because in the vernacular of seamanship, that's somebody who is in charge of a shore excursion.
Yeah.
So that's what we would talk about. But now you're technically, for Leviathan, you're one of our ambassadors, sort of one of our Johnny Appleseeds. That
you heard it for the first time here in Jesse Green Live. I moved up in the Pirate Ground.
Yeah, I actually have you on the website as an ambassador.
Oh, do you?
Yep. So you may not have even known it.
No, I didn't even know it.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
we
it.
consider you an ambassador because, like Johnny Appleseed out there seeding, you know, the countryside with new shoots and new fresh green people. Jesse, you get around.
Well, you know, over the years, I look on it, I've taken piracy into places that it was never into bike shows. I have the Blue Pearl, a $90,000 pirate-themed motorcycle. I had winches and mermaids that worked with me. And, you know, I've gotten away from that because of the acting career and the wrestling, but I still...
You're still an ambassador.
And I still do that. But, you know, it's... nobody knew anything. And pirates and bikers, I feel, are the same people.
Different hats.
Yeah, different hats. Different hats.
But pretty close.
Yeah, but different generations, but the same.
Pretty much the same lifestyle and mentality.
Same lifestyle and mentality of that freedom.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was taken into the biking community, accepted there, and used to do a lot of bike shows. And the Blue Pearl would win awards, and of course the fact that I was there and I had beautiful winches and mermaids with me, that didn't hurt in popularity, you know.
No,
but
I have to get by on my costume alone. You got by having a lot of additional accessories, a little different kind of way of accessorizing than I did.
The members of the crew of the Blue Pearl changed over the years, and so now I'm Captain Decapitate a lot of the time, which is the bad guy, the heel manager in professional wrestling, and my guys that work under me are the crew of Blood. That's why I wanted Craven more blood, but.
Well, I respect the way you handle yourself, man. Overall, I've watched and I've admired and lived a little bit vicariously through you as your career has blossomed and changed and grown and morphed and evolved.
Yeah.
All of the above, right? I mean, in truth. And yet, then Jesse will call me and he'll say, "Hey, I'm sneaking into town for this event. Don't tell anybody. I want to surprise people."
Yeah, one of the girls that worked with me. Well, one of my original girls that worked with me is my Winches and Mermaids for bike shows. I haven't seen her for 9 years, and I saw and we only lived 3 hours away from each other up in Maryland and Virginia. But I hadn't seen her for 9 years, and I saw on Facebook that she was going to be here. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it because of movie shooting schedules, but I found out at the last minute, and I called. Craven was the only one I called, and I said, you know, look, I want you to know I'm in town. And the reason I called is because, and it's still raining. We've had a lot of rain here the last couple of days in Daytona Beach, and I was afraid we were going to get rained out last night, and I wanted to know where everybody was going to hang out in case it rained. I actually was thinking if it would have kept raining the way it was, I wasn't going to go on guard because I couldn't, especially the hats, you know, because they're basically, I don't know yours, but mine is basically just cardboard inside.
Well, my hat, it's really kind of funny because the hat that I'm most well known for, there are pictures of that hat over the years. And that hat is not as It's grayed out, like I have.
Yeah.
It used to be really black, because of all the sun and the rain
Oh,
and
yeah,
the salt and it has kind of got this gray patina now with the feathers. But it's been through a lot. You're right about that.
I was down in Key West some years back in my garb, and got a torrential rain, and I had to walk back home in the rain. When I got back to the hotel room, my hat was like this, and I thought it was ruined. And I sat there pretty much a lot of the night with a hairdryer and holding it and folding it back in place. And by the morning, you never knew anything happened.
Well, that's because what we wear is not a costume.
Right.
If it was costume quality stuff,
Oh yeah.
it would fall apart
Yeah,
like that. But
yeah.
I mean, when you've been in the community like we have, the clothing we wear is pirate clothing, but it's real clothing, and it's some
Yes.
days it's much heavier duty than the stuff we wear now.
Oh yeah.
And which is one of the reasons why sometimes on a hot summer night,
Yeah.
you might wear a little less. But
Right. Yeah, because I wear a conch shell around my neck, and that's to signify because my real name is Captain Mango de Cayoeso. Cayoeso was the Spanish name for Key West, so I'm Captain Mango of Key West. So I wear a conch shell that shows my connection to Key West. Well, when I started out, of course, I was only wearing it 2-3 days a year, and actually thinking of reasons to wear it. Can I wear it to this function? And not now. Not really, but now sometimes I think, man, it'd be nice to not have to wear it. But every time, I tell you a story. Every time I go somewhere and I don't put my outfit on, I get there and I freaking regret
you
it.
regret it.
Because but then sometimes I do it. I was going to say this about, we were talking about celebrities. The nice thing about what we do is if we want attention, now he's more famous in pirating. He's like up here and I'm here. But I can go dressed like this and not get any attention. I can go to a function and I just walk around. Because if I become Captain Mango more than Captain Decapitate, I find, because if I dress in all black and wear the whiteout contacts and black streaks on my, and just the demeanor is, people won't ask me for pictures.
But Mango, they will.
Mango, they will,
Yeah.
because Mango is the fun pirate. But there's times where I head out somewhere and I go, you know what, I'm not gonna wear it today because I just don't want to mess with people today. And if you don't want to mess with people, don't go anywhere dressed like a pirate.
It does draw attention.
Because they don't. Oh, I've had them standing in line to get pictures with you, and but I love the attention 99.9% of the time. But there's sometimes that you just don't want that attention. Unfortunately, if you're somebody like Johnny Depp or a celebrity, you don't have that option. You're who you are, and you can't get away from it. I can get away from it.
Well, as this podcast continues to blow up, they're going to recognize your regular face too, and you will become that famous when you get 1 million viewers.
You think?
Oh yeah. Everything else you've done has turned to gold, my friend.
Well, it's been good. It's been going good. We were talking some. We can't tell the stories on a podcast, but we were talking some stories over the years of things that happened.
They are legitimate adventures.
They are, and I run into this, and maybe you do too. I'll be telling people stories of stuff that happened, and I go, "You're lying," and my come back to that is, you know what? I've had so much crazy shit happen in my life. I don't have to make anything up.
Hey, life is too short not to wake up drunk and in a pirate costume.
That's right. I've done that before. It's been a long time, but I've done that.
We did mention that. If you don't mind, we'll out that because neither one of us really drink anymore.
No.
But you still have the same amount of fun.
I know when
And that is one of the cool parts about pirate events is that lift, that joy, that buzz.
Yeah.
The alcohol's not actually required to get.
No, it's not. I know when I was kind of forced to slow down my drinking, I was like, how am I going to do what I do and not drink? And that's been 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing to it. I'm not saying that I don't drink, but man, the last time that I drank that I felt bad the next day, I can't even remember, which is a good thing.
Absolutely.
You know, because you get to
it sets you free actually.
you get to our age, you know, all you young people out there that drink, and you're feeling good by noon the next day. Just wait, Buttercup. It's gonna get you. And when it gets to a point where you don't feel good for 2 days, 3 days, you're like, I didn't have that much fun, right?
Wasn't worth the trade.
It wasn't worth the.
Wasn't worth the trade.
And so now I might have a few drinks and that's it. But
so without turning the tables on you, because this is your show and your interview, but you know I do that a lot. I got to ask you, what's next for Jesse Green?
I have no idea.
You don't know what's next?
No. Well, right now we finished up Blue Pearl Production and Rogue Enterprises. We finished up our first short a week ago, and it's already into post editing. We're hoping to maybe have a turnaround of a month or two, which is unheard of in the indie film business. And we're hoping that it's good enough to put it in some film festivals. We're working on, we just picked up a second writer for our first full feature. Tuesday, I got to be back in Maryland by 10 o'clock on, oh wait a minute, this is on Wednesday. So yesterday, I always do this on.
That's the magic of putting one in the can.
Yesterday, I was back in Maryland at 10 o'clock shooting a new movie up in Gettysburg. And then tonight, I have to be in D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial to shoot my first international movie. I'm shooting with a director from Belfast, Ireland. And some of the scenes are he's been up in New York and Atlanta and D.C. shooting the American scenes for this movie, and I'm going to be in it. So it'll be my first international thing.
So see, there is stuff on
your
agenda.
Did you think there really wasn't?
No.
I mean,
why I don't. Question.
You know, I'm old. I'm not dead. You know.
You're going to keep kicking for a long time, Jess.
I hope so. But you know, the idea that I know at 73 years old that I just watched the drip.
Yes. Well, and I'll share something with you.
Okay.
I introduced you to two people this morning at breakfast that 3 weeks ago I actually officiated for their wedding. He's 73.
Oh yeah.
She's 72, and it was her first marriage. And there is something, every time I've said that, the women in the room all go, aww. Because there's something really sweet about that.
Yeah, that.
Isn't there?
Huh.
Sweet and loving about that.
I didn't think they were that age.
And that's why I said it, because you just said, well, I'm getting old.
And he's got a purple beard.
He's got a big purple beard. But they are such cool people.
They are.
Such sweet people.
They are.
And they have found... they've been together for years, but they wanted to get married, and they asked me to do it, and that was such an honor. And I guess what I'm saying is that you, though, when I introduced you to them, she just jumped up and said, oh my God, that's who this is. And the reason I say that is because you inspire people at any age to not let age be a barrier, my friend. You're like, hey, okay, I'm 64 years old. I think I'm going to go get in the movie business. And then a few years later, it's like, I always wanted to be a professional wrestler, so I'm going to do that. And then the management turn and everything else. Yeah. So you don't let age be a barrier to you at all, my friend. And I have always admired that about you.
I appreciate that. It's
never too late.
It's never too late, and I still have no idea how I got where I'm at. I still have no idea how I got. Just, lucky breaks. I'll tell everybody a story though, because this happened to me later in life. But I ran into a guy. This was back when I was just Captain Mango. No movie stuff, no wrestling stuff. I was just Captain Mango doing bike shows and photo shoots and all. But through Facebook, I met up with my best friend through high school. His name was Ben. And he was passing through town, and we met for lunch. And he told me an interesting thing, because through high school I felt like I was a strange looking kid and had funky teeth and black rimmed glasses, and I was like worse than a nobody, okay? And he told me, he said, because he's known me most of my life, he said, he said, I want you to know something. He said, you've always been Captain Mango. You were just too shy to let anybody see it.
That actually circles back to what I said about that continuum, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
you the pirate life revealed who you really were.
Yeah.
As opposed to putting on a mask
Right.
and acting like Captain Mango.
Yeah.
It actually let you reveal yourself.
Yeah, I feel this is going to sound strange, but I actually probably feel more comfortable dressed up like a pirate than what I do. Not that bad that it's, but yeah, I feel more comfortable, because it's the girls that worked with me used to laugh that we would get dressed to go to a function, and like I said, I've taken piracy to a lot of places it was never at. So there were many times, and still is, that
You'd be the only ones.
I'd be walking into an event thinking, is this a good idea? Is this gonna work?
I laugh, and you'll probably laugh, because a lot of the people that I introduced to pirating, they have that experience the first time they go into a convenience store to get gas when they're on their way to a festival dressed up. They're like the only person walking in, and everybody looks at them. They all have that experience, but you do it like you've been plowing new fields. You've been going into places where everybody's dressed like a biker and you're dressed like a pirate.
Yeah. But it's you walk in and you have that. They used to laugh, because I'd be like, I'm not sure this is a good idea, but you just keep plowing forward. And they always laughed at, he was always like that, until the first person said, hey, can I get a picture with you? And then they said, okay, it's game on now.
That was game on.
And that's all you need. Whereas if I walk in as just Jesse Green, I'm just going to be somebody else at that convention walking through. Nobody's going to stop me and ask me for pictures. Nobody's going to ask for autographs. And like I said before, sometimes that's good. But the attention is, and I've got to, where I'm at in all these things by shameless self-promotion. But if you don't, but back to the story of being shy when I was a kid. So, if there's somebody out there watching and you're not where you want to be in life, or the personality you want to be in life, just hold on. None of this started until 20 years ago, 22 years ago. I put together the whole Captain Mango outfit for Jimmy Buffett tailgating, because I got tired of setting up the tiki bars and carrying the coolers and everything. And I'm like, I want an authentic pirate outfit. And it's cost me a pretty good penny, but what it is brought to me, it's thousandfold back in the investment. So,
and if you don't like where you are, just change the path to where you're going.
Yeah,
that's the real key. You don't have to change overnight. You just change the path to where you're going and start heading in the direction that you want to be.
Well, yeah, you'll never get to where you want to be if you keep doing the same things. You're going to stay where you're at. And
this has been fun, Jess.
This has been fun. This has been fun. We got to do it again.
We will. We'll probably
just-
do it again, like right after this or something.
Yeah, probably will. Yeah, you'll see number 2 coming on. But anyhow, we got to keep something for number 2. Maybe in number 2 we'll tell some stories
Oh,
of
well,
things
I
that
am
have
a storyteller.
of things that have happened.
Could
We
be.
will have to change the names to
Protect the
innocent.
not so innocent.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know in our stories there is any real innocence.
We're all of a certain age, so.
Yeah, we were all. Everybody was of age of consent in these stories. So but okay, we better end it there. We'll get in trouble with
It's
somebody.
a great place to end it.
We'll get in trouble with somebody out there
We will.
because somebody out there watching this is gonna go. They're gonna tell a tale about me.
Well, then they'll just have to tune in and see.
Yeah, tune in and see if we do include your story. If we do, we'll put you on the Story Hall of Fame over here. And if you didn't make it, sorry.
No, just do something in the next event that's
Yeah, the
story
next
worthy.
event. Yeah,
See?
get back. Yeah, get back.
It's all half full, man.
Yeah,
There's
that's
always
true.
room for more.
That's true.
It's not that the glass is half empty or half full. What it means is there's always room for more rum.
That's right. That's right. Why is the rum always going? Thank everybody for tuning in today. Tune in next Wednesday morning at 5:36 for Jesse Green In Between. But remember to like, comment, and
Subscribe.
you heard it. What was it?
Subscribe. Click on that notification bell so
Yeah.
you know when it comes.
That's right. Ding, 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 ding at the bottom. But I need subscribers. Viewers, I love you all. Everybody that tunes in every show, I love you all, but I need subscribers. But I'm not gonna beg. I'm not gonna beg.
Okay.
Okay.
You just did. But
I
okay.
did. I know.
It's all right.
See you next Wednesday.